Prologue: The Execution. The grand chamber of the Varecian Empire was silent as death. The only sound was the slow, rhythmic dripping of blood onto the marble floor. At the center of the room, a young woman hung from golden chains, her body broken, her breathing shallow. Empress Selene Varecia, the ruthless ruler of the continent, stood before her, a cruel smile twisting her lips. "Any last words, traitor?" the Empress sneered. The woman, Liora of the Fallen, lifted her head weakly, her silver eyes burning with defiance. "You will kneel before this is over." The Empress laughed. Then, with a flick of her wrist, she drove her dagger into Liora's heart. The crowd erupted in cheers. Liora's body went limp. And then, the world changed. Chapter 1: The Reckoning. 40 minutes later, the first scream echoed through the palace. A servant collapsed, clawing at his throat, his veins turning black. Then another. Then a dozen more. Empress Selene, still basking in her victory, frowned as her advisors rushed in, their faces pale. "Your Majesty, something is wrong." Before she could respond, the doors burst open. A figure stood there, silhouetted in the crimson light of the setting sun. Liora. But not as she had been. Her silver eyes glowed with an unnatural light, her skin shimmered with dark runes, and the wound in her chest pulsed with eerie energy. "You killed me," Liora said, her voice echoing as though 1,000 souls spoke through her. But death was only the beginning. Chapter 2: The Curse Unleashed. The moment Liora had died, the ancient curse woven into her bloodline had awakened. The Varecian Empire had spent centuries eradicating the Duskborn, a clan said to hold dominion over death itself. But they had missed one: Liora. And now, with her last breath, she had become the vessel of their vengeance. The curse spread like wildfire. Nobles who had laughed at her execution now writhed in agony as their flesh rotted. Soldiers who had held her chains found their weapons turning to dust in their hands. Empress Selene, shielded by her royal magics, watched in horror as her empire crumbled around her. What are you?" she demanded, her voice trembling. Liora stepped forward, the ground cracking beneath her feet. "I am the end of your reign." Chapter 3: The Fall of the Empire. Panic consumed the palace. Liora moved like a storm, unstoppable, inevitable. Every spell cast at her dissolved. Every blade shattered before it could touch her. The curse was simple: those who spill Duskborn blood shall know only suffering. And the Varecian Empire had spilled rivers of it. One by one the nobles fell, some begging, some defiant, all powerless. Empress Selene, desperate, unleashed her most forbidden magic, a spell that had once leveled cities. Liora caught it in her palm and crushed it. Then she spoke a single word: "Kneel." And the Empress, proud, untouchable Selene Varecia, collapsed to her knees, her body racked with pain. Chapter 4: The Last Words. Liora stood over the broken ruler, her vengeance complete. The chamber, once filled with arrogance and power, was now a tomb of the damned. "You thought you were gods," Liora whispered. "But gods do not bleed." With a final breath, the curse reached its climax. The Empress let out one last, agonized scream, and turned to ash. Epilogue: The Dawn After Dusk. The sun rose over a silent empire. Liora stood at the palace gates, the weight of centuries of slaughter finally lifted. She had died. She had returned. And now, at last, the world would remember the price of crossing the Duskborn.